Hey guys, I wanted to showcase you my zombie deck profile. We're going to go ahead and hop right into it. Alright, we run the one copy of Doomkeen Belladroke. It's pretty good. It gives you a negate, a banish, and it's recurable every turn. Two copies of Jack of Bolin. He's pretty good because he helps you get cards out of your hand, and also he has a cool quick effect to special summon a zombie monster from either graveyard, which does come up. We also run three copies of Shiranui Solitaire. You don't do a lot with it. You really just pull Unizombie from your deck with him. And we do run the three copies of Unizombie. Pretty useful. Discards a card from your hand, and also he sends a zombie from the deck to the graveyard. Both are very useful, and also he's a tuner for needle fiber plays. I just run one copy of Banshee. This version of the deck doesn't rely on Zombie World too much, but you can banish her to bring Zombie World from the deck. Three copies of Mizuki, Monster Reborn for your graveyard. Get some zombies. I run one copy of Plague Spreader and one copy of Glow Up Bloom. The Plague Spreader is useful because if you have a Garnet in your hand, you could shuffle it back into your deck to special summon him. And Glow Up, he's really just useful because he's a level 1 tuner, and he just happens to be a zombie. Yeah. And I just run the one copy of Gozuki. He's useful. If for some reason this is your only normal summon, you can use him to send Plague Spreader to the graveyard. Plague Spreader effect to special summon himself, and then you have Halki Fibrex plays. It doesn't come up a lot, but that is another reason to run Plague Spreader. He also has another cool effect. You can banish a zombie from your graveyard to special summon a zombie from your hand. It also comes up pretty regular. I run two copies of Orbital Hydrolander. He's pretty useful because I don't run a lot of 3-ofs except for the Unizombie. So basically you can send a few cards to your graveyard to pop any card on the field. It's pretty useful, and for some reason you draw both of them, you can just special summon them both, and they're huge beaters. I also run a small danger package. Jackalope, Mothman, Nessie, Tsukinoko. These are super useful because say you normal summon Unizombie and it gets impermed or ashed or whatever. If you have this, it doesn't really matter because then you can go into your help plays, and yeah, it makes it so the hand traps don't matter as much. Super useful. Definitely run these. I run two copies of Nemesis Flag and the boss, Nemesis Protos. This is very useful as an extender. If you have a banished card, you could shuffle the banished card back into your deck to special summon him, and then you can Rhoda the boss, and the boss just requires you to banish 3 monsters to bring him out. So super useful with Orbital Hydrolander to make sure you don't have dupes in your grave. But his effect is pretty useful. Basically, you can destroy an attribute on the field, and basically you and your opponent are locked out of that attribute until the end of their turn. Generally, the fields that this deck ends on is a dark, a light, and also if you bring him out, obviously you're going to have a fire. So if you know what your opponent's playing, you can lock them out of darks, lights, or fires. So it's super useful. The cool thing about it is if you, like, say you didn't want to lock it out of anything because you had like a Belladroke in the graveyard, you could special summon him out, add him to hand, and then you could just special summon him, and then you can use them for materials for Union Carrier or something like that. Because the cool thing is that everything's going to be zombies, so Union Carry plays are possible with these guys. Just free extenders, very nice to draw. Next up, we have a Cyberstein and 2 Rescue Ferret package. These are very, very good. We played an Exterio, so you just pay the 5k and then you get unlimited spell traps and negates, which is incredibly useful. The Rescue Ferret is kind of funny. Basically, he says that if you have 2 zones on the field, if he's normal, if you can put him on the field, you can activate his effect to shuffle him back into the deck, and then you can bring out monsters that equal up to level 6. So basically, what you would do is you would do Cyberstein, and then at that point you would either do Mizuki or Necroworld Banshee, whatever one you don't have. So say you have a Mizuki in the graveyard, you would do Banshee and Cyberstein, and put those on the field, and at that point you would fuse them off for Union Carrier. But yeah, it's super useful, and it's just a pretty cool little tech package. Small, doesn't require a lot of slots. For my Syncrons, I run just 1 Jet Synchron and 1 Quick Draw Synchron. He's super useful. I run 1-for-1 in the deck, so you can get him out for free. Basically, you really want to run a lot of special summoners just because you want hand traps to not matter as much, because zombies naturally are very weak to hand traps, so you just want to special summon as much as possible. So he's useful because obviously he's a tuner for Halqifibrax plays, and most of the time you bring him out with Halqifibrax. But the thing is say your hand is just completely horrible, but you have like a Foolish Burial or something, you can send him to the graveyard, and then you can discard a card from your hand and then just pop off from there. He just does a lot. It's an amazing card. Quick Draw Synchron, I like him because he's kind of like another copy of, what's the guy called? Oh, Jacobolin. Except instead of having to discard a zombie, you can literally discard anything. Bonus points for being a tuner for Halqifibrax plays. He's just super useful. And we also run the Avian package. This is what the deck ends on most of the time. Nobody really expects it in Zombies, but Zombies has the bonus points of being able to Union Carrier with almost anything, since Zombie World makes everything into zombies. But yeah, my version of the deck revolves around this loop, and all of the other I guess little packages, they kind of supplement these guys. But yeah, if you don't know the loop, basically you bring him out with Samorg, Link 3, and then you bring him out with Union Carrier. So if you have a way to get 5 monsters on the board, you can get both of these guys, and it's an endless loop where, say your opponent activates an effect, a card or effect, and this negates activation, so it's damage step, all kinds of stuff. So what you do is you activate Apex Avian targeting Thunderbird. Alright, so Thunderbird's going to bounce back to your hand, and it's going to negate the effect. Thunderbird is going to trigger in hand to special summon himself back out, because he says when he gets bounced to your hand, special summon it. So it's an infinite loop, and basically the only way that your opponent can get over it is Dark Ruler No More, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, or normal summoning a monster and attacking over that. So yeah, it's super nice. You know, if you're playing up against a deck that just runs a bunch of spells, or is really relying on their normal summon, and it's, you know, like say the new Sacred Beasts, you know, all their normal summons are like 0 attack, 0 defense. So I mean, if you go first, they just lose. There's almost nothing they can do. But yeah, this is a super easy, super great combo. And the reason I decided to do these is because I was just so sick and tired of just losing to Mystic Mine, Twin Twisters on my Zombie World, Called by the Grave on my Ballardroke on standby. So these guys, they get around that, and they pretty much say, do you have the Dark Ruler no more? No? Okay. Good game. So yeah, these are a great thing, and these cards are actually really cheap. So great cards to end on. We have we have 1 copy of Monster Reborn, amazing card. Foolish Burial, amazing card. Our 2nd copy of Monster Reborn, World Legacy Succession. We have a lot of link zones, so that's good. 1-for-1 is you pretty much use it to bring out your Glow Up or Jet Synchron. Basically, like I said, you want to special summon as much as possible, just because you're weak to hand traps. And you know, I'm sure you could run Called by the Grave, but my issue is you know, when I need it, I don't have it, so I would rather just play more extenders instead. Um, but yeah, those are one ofs. Targets for this: Jet Synchron, Glow Up. This the best targets you can do is Rescue Ferret, to get your Naturia Exterio out. Foolish Burial. Basically, you just search for what you don't have in Monster Reborn. Alright. I only run 2 copies of Zombie World. Like I said, this version of Zombies doesn't really rely on it too much. But, you know, I run, you know, Super Poly and all that stuff. So, it is still good. And the last cards are Super Poly. You know, just going second. This is probably one of the best cards you can have. If you can go into the Starving Venom, it's hard for your opponent to deal with, because if they kill it, it just destroys their whole board, unless they just have a ton of negates. So yeah, this card is amazing. Especially any card that says your opponent can't respond to it is just pretty insane. Extra deck. 1 copy of Link Rebo. You mainly use it on Jet Synchron when you're climbing into the Samorg play. Say for some reason you didn't have Zombie World to make everything zombies for your Union carrier. You know, Jet Synchron's a fire, so if, like, say you had a Uni zombie on the field and he was a fire, but you needed to make Jet Synchron into a dark, that's really the best thing for that. Or say your hand is terrible and you open like Zombie World and Glow Up, and that's just about it. You know, Zombie World, and then you just normal summon Glow Up Bloom, go into Elite Kribo, bring out Bolodroke, and then you just go into Vampire Sucker, and that ends your turn, but it still gives you a negate. So yeah, Link Kribo unfortunately is mandatory. Then we run the Link Cross and Christian Halkifabrax. You're going to go into these two every single turn. Even going second, you are going to go into these guys. Basically, any tuner and any special summon, danger, etc., is going to get you into this. It's just the advantage. I mean, it's like, I feel like this card was seriously made for zombies. It works so well. But yeah, he brings out a tuner from the deck, and then once he brings the tuner out, you link him away for Link Ross, and then he brings 2 tokens on the field, and then a level 1, and then from there you get a free draw, and then you get 1 more body. Just a generic Nightmare Phoenix. You know, it sucks to run into those. There can only be 1 decks, and you don't have an out. So there may be a better card, but I put this in here because sometimes you want to destroy cards and discard cards, and you know, it comes up sometimes. Union Carrier, you're going to make this every turn. You always bring out Thunderbird with it, targeting Samorg. Ripperdokus, very important. You're going to make it every time. When you do the Link Ross play, you're going to have Ripperdokus pointing to something. You activate its effect, targeting the something, and turn it into a Winged Beast. And that gives you your Samorg for your infinite negate loops. Vampire Sucker, just generic vampire stuff. It comes up if your board state gets disrupted by hand traps pretty often. Super useful with Bolodroke, because when Bolodroke comes back, it gives you the draw, and then you could chain Bolodroke to get a banish. Bonus points for her. Nobody ever uses this effect, but she says that you can use your opponent's monsters for a tribute summon. So say they have like I don't know, just any 2 monsters. It doesn't matter. It can be Link or whatever. If they have 2 monsters on their side of the board, and you have Balerdroke or Jackaburan in your hand, it's not an activated effect. It's just like you just do it. But say they have 2 monsters on their side of the field, you can just tribute over them. It's not an activated effect or anything. So weird monsters that are immune to card effects, or like BLS or whatever. You can just tribute over them. Pretty crazy. Never seen anybody use that. She can also, like, say your opponent ashes you on your turn, you can activate her effect and special summon that ash back to their side of the field and get you a free draw. And that actually is pretty useful, because it can stop your opponent from evenly matching you. It can stop your opponent from lightning storming you. The new Numeron deck, it can stop them from, since they have a monster on their field, they can activate the field spell, but they can't summon any monsters because they have to control no monsters. So her giving your opponent a monster effect is actually pretty awesome. This card is just insane. Avenged Savior. He comes up. He's really best in simplified board states. The best thing about him is he mills for cost. So say you summon him and your opponent effect veilers him. Doesn't matter. You just go straight into battle phase and you attack with him. You can activate his effect to mill for cost, and then you can mill, Bollerdroke for next turn, or you can mill a Mizuki, so that way you can, play more this turn. It's really up to you, but just remember he mills for cost, so it doesn't matter if they negate it. It's pretty awesome card. You definitely want to play it in zombies. Link Ross. The plays you do with Link Ross is these two guys. The two tokens that you bring out, you want to do it with a level 1 token, but Formula Synchron nets you a draw, and then you want to immediately go into Martial Metal Marcher to bring back Formula Synchron, so that way you have 3 monsters on the field. And then when you have the 3 monsters on the field, so basically this is going to net you a draw here, and basically the basic play is this is going to be the board state here. You got to draw, and then he's going to bring back Formula Synchron. You would want to link these two away for Rapidocus. Rapidocus effect, target him into a winged beast, to bring out our next card, Samordberg of Sovereignty. Card is pretty amazing. Basically brings out the Avian from the deck. Generally your opponent has used their Ash by the time you get to this, so yeah, it's almost always going to go off. Cool thing is that the card cannot be targeted as long as it is a winged beast. If you have Zombie World on the field, it is no longer a winged beast, and it can be targeted. Keep that in mind. So sometimes it's a good idea to build your board and not even activate Zombie World. Just keep Banshee in the grave, unless you need it. But yeah, it can't be targeted, and the cards he points to can't be targeted, so the Avian also can't be targeted. The effect of Special Summon is on every end phase, so also your opponent's end phase. So say for some reason you couldn't get the small bird off of Union Carrier. If you bring Avian out, and say you activate Avian's effect to bounce back to the hand, on the end phase, if your opponent doesn't kill this, Apex Avian will come right back for a negate on your turn. Card's great. Like I said, I can't stand my zombies losing to Twin Twister. I can't stand my zombies losing to Evenly Matched. This fixes that. So, next card. Boral Sword Dragon. Going second. This is pretty awesome. Basically, you want to just do your normal Hauki Fabrax plays, but instead of bringing out Jet Synchron, you bring out Glow Up. And then basically you want to end up with 4 monsters on the field, one of them being Glow Up Bloom, and then you do Boral Sword, and at that point you would do Glow Up effect to bring out Bollerdroke. So you would have Boral Sword and Bollerdroke, and probably you would have another monster, but usually Boral Sword and Bollerdroke is enough to win by itself. Card is amazing. Love this card. Got some super poly targets. Starving Venom, Fusion Dragon. Main reason to run this card is when you're breaking boards, really the power of this card just comes from the last effect. When this card is destroyed, you can destroy all of your opponent's special summon monsters. So basically you get to wipe out 2 of your opponent's monsters, and then say they destroy it, so they have to use a 3rd card to destroy it, and then its effect is going to trigger in the graveyard and to attempt to destroy all their special summon monsters. And if they can't stop that, it requires them to do 4. It takes 4 cards from them to deal with this. This card is great. Only issue is you're not always going to run into dark decks, but it does come up. Boral Savage is a dark, so yeah. Another target is Nether Soul. You know, it requires 2 zombies. If you got Zombie World on the field, you just fuse off your opponent's monsters. You know, there's no telling how many times I've attempted to activate Zombie World, and my opponent's like, okay, you know, I don't care. And as soon as you do that, it turns everything into zombies, and you just blow their board out. You know, it's like you have to negate this Zombie World, or you risk losing everything. So, very good card. Wrapping up, last card in the extra deck, Naturia Exterio. It is, you bring it out fairly consistently. Biggest deal is you just want to supplement that Apex Avian Infinite Loop with something else. Because if your opponent has a Kaiju or has a ton of quick effects, you know, you want something to supplement it, and this is a great supplemental negator. So, you know, say this gets Kaiju'd, but you still have your Avian Loop. It's just like, so now your opponent has to get 2 of their cards negated before they can do anything. So, yeah, this is just a great card. Side deck, I don't know how relevant this is, but this is the side deck that I run. 1 copy of Pankratops. Ultrageist is coming back, and this is just insane against them. Plus going second, it's just a great card. I mean, you just attack and pop a card, and then you evenly match them after. I mean, it's just an amazing card. And, you know, it sucks that it's at 1, but that's life. 2 copies of Gamma Seal. You know, the Numeron's coming out, and there's a lot of other stuff that just needs to be dealt with quickly without having to activate a ton of stuff. Appaloosa, etc. Deals with it. 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. If you can negate all their stuff and then set up your infinite negates while knocking some of their cards out, it can win you the game. I run 3 copies of Twin Twisters over Cosmic Cyclone, generally because I like the discard. Say you discard Mizuki or Banshee, something like that. It's useful, you know. So I like the Twin Twisters. It's and plus just getting rid of more back row, because that going second, that is definitely a weakness of this deck. Is just, you know, just tons of back row. It's hard to deal with, you know, getting your Uni-Zombie flip face down or bounce to the hand or whatever. So just deals with weird stuff. Also running 3 copies of Forbidden Chalice. It's an older card, but it's just a quick effect negate. Few things that's relevant is, you know, the Numeron brings out Zexal. They're going to use it on your draw phase. You just chain this, negate that, and they pretty much just lose because it's going to have 2,000 attack, and you just attack over it, and they can't do anything. Another one is Shadal. I cannot remember the name, but it's a Shadal card, and it stops you from special summoning. Basically, you just use this on her and blank her out, and then you can special summon all you want. You know, and the Vanities cards, that kind of stuff. You know, it does come up. And sometimes, I mean, if you put it in and you just, I mean, say they're playing against zombies, I mean, you just blank out their Uni-Zombie and they just pass. I mean, very good card, very overlooked card. I'm sure if you had Imperms, maybe you would want to use Imperms instead, but this works. Works good, too. And the last few cards, Red Reboot. Against those pesty trap decks, you just use this and you try your best to OTK them. Yeah, it's at 1, but it's still amazing. Should still find room for it. And the last 2 cards are evenly matched. Like I was saying before, one of my favorite combos to do is to special summon Pankratops, go into battle phase, attack over a monster, use his effect to pop a card, and then at that point you would just end phase evenly matched. Basically Pankratops will guarantee that these go off. But yeah, these are just blowout cards, amazing cards. Yeah, they just win games, especially against pesky back row decks. You'll notice that most of my extra deck is focused around Spell Trap Destruction, because the fact is that the the deck suffers going second against just tons of back row. So you really just want to blow those out. Going first, you just set up Exterio and negate everything. But yeah, that's the deck. It ends on. Well, I'll tell you what. I will make a combo video showcasing a few combos in my next video, and we'll work on it from there. All right, thanks. Alright, I just wanted to show off some combos, some zombie combos. This is going to be the 2-card combo. So if you start off with Unizombie and Mizuki in your hand, or Unizombie and Shiranui Solitaire, which is basically a copy of Unizombie. So this is the 2-card combo. You would normal summon Unizombie, use the effect of Unizombie to pitch Mizuki to the grave, and you would send Gozuki to the grave with Unizombie's second effect. You would banish Mizuki to special summon Gozuki. Gozuki's effect, you are wanting to send another copy of Mizuki from the deck to the grave. Okay, at this point you are going to link summon for Crystron Hauki Fibrax. Hauki Fibrax's effect to pull out Jet Syncron from the deck. If you have Jet Syncron in your hand, you can also do Glow Up Bloom here. You're going to link away Hauki Fibrax for Link Cross. Link Cross's effect is going to trigger off to give you 2 tokens on your side of the field. Just summon those right here. You're going to link these 2 off. Or I'm sorry, synchro these 2 off for Formula Syncron. Formula Synchron is going to trigger, giving you a draw. It doesn't really matter what it is, but hopefully it likes to be in the graveyard. You're going to synchro again for Metal Marcher. Metal Marcher can grab you any of the tuners from your graveyard, doesn't matter. We're going to link into Reprodocus. Reprodocus' effect targeting whatever this is, and it's going to turn it into a winged beast, and at that point we will link again into Samorg. Alright, and like I said, it doesn't matter what the draw is, and technically you don't have to discard the draw. It doesn't matter that it's a Bolodroke, but you're just going to use Jet Synchron's effect to discard whatever it was to the graveyard to special summon himself, and then at this point you're going to use Mizuki's effect to special summon a zombie. We have a fire machine, so it just needs to be a dark. So we're going to special summon Unizombie. We're going to link away Jet Syncron. He's going to get banished. And we're going to go into Link Karibo, making both of these cards darks. We're going to link here into Union Carrier. Union Carrier effect targeting bird to bring out Small Burb. And you're going to call end phase. On end phase, Big Bird's effect is going to trigger. Putting him right here. And you can actually slide this over to play around Mech Knights. But just a 2-card combo, and you have 3 other cards in your hand after this now. But basically it ends on an infinite negate loop. So say your opponent activates a Carter effect, Miss Valley, you activate his effect targeting him to bounce. He's going to bounce back to your hand and negate the effect. Alright, and then his effect's going to trigger, and you just special summon him right here so he gets some protection. And your opponent activates another effect, you chain targeting him, bounces back to your hand. When he gets bounced to your hand, activates the special. And it's just an infinite loop. Basically, as I said before, they have to run over this with a monster or play Dark Ruler No More or Ghost Ogre on him. Or I guess technically they could battle over this too, but that's pretty unlikely. But that's a 2-card combo. Super good. Stops all the pesky evenly matched and Mystic Minds. So that's the 2-card combo. I'll follow up with a 3-card combo. This is another little combo. I just wanted to kind of showcase probably one of the best boards that the deck can put out. So obviously, the hand is loaded, but yeah, this is probably one of the best hands that the deck can put out. Alright, so we're going to activate Zombie World. Going to normal summon. I'll just put Zombie World up there. Normal summon Uni-Zombie. Uses effect to pitch Mizuki to the grave. Uses effect to send Gozuki to the graveyard. Let's see. Gozuki. Alright, we're going to use Mizuki's effect to bring out Gozuki. Gozuki's effect to send another Mizuki. Okay. Alright, so now we are going to Link Summon into Crystron Hauki Fibrax. And we're going to do the standard. Use his effect and bring out Jet Syncron. Link away Hauki Fibrax for Link Cross. Use Link Cross's effect to bring out 2 tokens. Sync for 2. Formula Synchron. Formula Synchron's effect to add a card, or to draw a card. Super Poly. We're going to sync again. Into Marcher. Marcher's effect to bring any tuner. We're just going to bring the Jet. Link for Reprodocus. Reprodocus effect to turn him into a winged beast. And we'll bring out some work. Alright, so at this point, we are wanting to banish our Mizuki for something. We'll just banish Mizuki to bring out Uni-Zombie. Alright. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Not Uni-Zombie. Let me rewind just a tad. We actually want to use Jet Syncron's effect. Pitching Rescue Ferret. Now we want to banish Mizuki, specialing Rescue Ferret. Rescue Ferret's effect, shuffle him into the deck to special summon monsters that equal to level 6 from the deck. We're wanting to do Cyberstein and Mizuki since we already have the field spell. Okay, so we're going to link 2 with these guys into Union Carrier. Union Carrier effect targeting Big Bird to bring out Small Bird, wherever she is. Here she is. Okay, now we're going to use this Mizuki's effect to bring out Cyberstein. Cyberstein's effect to bring out Exterio. Now at this point we can link 2 these guys away for something. Maybe we could do, you could either do Vampire Sucker or Phoenix to make him immune to battle. I guess we'll do Sucker here. Alright, we're going to use Nemesis. We're going to summon Nemesis by shuffling in a Mizuki from our banished pile because we used them all up. Nemesis's effect to search out the boss, which is Protos. Okay, so at this point, I'm trying to think. Let me look at the grave. Alright, grave is empty. So now we want to summon Protos by banishing. You have to banish 3 different attributes. So we're going to banish a dark. We're going to banish an earth. And we are going to banish... I kind of want to banish something on the field so it's not too clogged. I think I might just banish the flag here. Let's do that. Let's banish flag. Because you can do it from the field or grave. And then at this point you have a few lines of play. You can use his effect. You can use his effect on a dark to stop your opponent from using darks. And he won't destroy himself because he's immune to card effects. It would destroy your sucker. You can use his effect calling lights and destroying Union Carrier. So like Cyber Dragons, that kind of stuff. You can just destroy your Union Carrier and lock them out of lights. Or instead of banishing that Nemesis to bring him out, you could have just banished any other thing from the graveyard and then use his effect targeting or calling fire and locking them out of fire. But yeah, you can lock them out of 3 different things. You definitely don't want to call Winged Beast because that's what we play here. So yeah, let's just say we call Light. So we'll get rid of the Union Carrier and lock our opponent out of light monsters. We'll set the Super Poly, and then we'll call End Phase. End Phase happens, and Samorg is going to trigger to bring out Big Bird from the deck. So this is our end board. Basically, you've got a infinite negate loop with these 2 cards. Your opponent is locked out of light monsters. If your opponent special summons a monster from the graveyard, you get the draw so that you can activate the Super Poly. And your opponent can't activate spells or traps pretty much because you'll negate it with Exterio. Very rough, very hard to get over this. Yeah, it's really hard, really oppressive board. I mean, say your opponent Kaiju's this card, well, they still can't activate any spells or traps. And say they Kaiju this, well, they're still locked out of almost everything. They can't summon lights. And like I said, you can call fires, you can call lights with the Union Carrier, or you could have called darks. You know, knowing what your opponent is playing definitely helps when you're using Protos. Like one of my buddy plays, he plays Mech Knights, and just calling light is just so devastating with this card. This card is just, it doesn't offer a lot of protection that I would hope for Little Bird here, but just knowing your opponent and knowing what they play this is just devastating. And also just like going second, you know, unless your opponent just has a ton of negates. I mean, if you can get him on the board and like say they're all fires, just call fires, and you know, even if you don't destroy all their cards, I mean, they're still locked out for the next turn. I mean, in a format where you can literally lose the game in one turn, it's lingering effects are just insane. But yeah, you got 2 infinite negates, and you know, locking your opponent out. And also, I will say this: if you negate something, and Thunderbird bounces to your hand, his effect is going to trigger. It's a mandatory effect. But for some reason, say your opponent's like starting to get a real monster presence, this'll activate. You can actually just chain Poly to pitch it to do that. So, you know, I wouldn't worry too much about not having a card in hand to activate the Poly. I mean, if it's absolutely necessary, you can chain it in that way, so that way you can Poly stuff away. But there's other cards that you can draw off of the Formula Synchron too. But yeah, that's one of the best boards that this deck can build. It's definitely a far cry from most normal zombie builds, but I really enjoy it a lot, and it's very gimmicky, but who cares? If you win a lot of games, who cares? All right.